Hello and welcome to the Burning Metal podcast. We've had Death Can Wait back again. We've had Death Can Wait on earlier this year, but we decided we'd do it again later in the year because the last time Death Can Wait were on, everything was happening right after the podcast, and we couldn't mention most of the things that were happening. But we're here now back again, and we said we'd right all the wrongs and cover the year you've had, and quite a successful year. And you've got your newest EP, Symptom of Suffering, out, which is part of a trilogy. You've played the Siege of Limerick. You've played the Outrage Festival in Enniscorthy, amongst others. So where else can we start? Only than the last time we were on, there was no Brian, but Brian is back now in a co-vocal capacity. And what else you play keyboards, Brian? That's correct, yes?
Keyboards, yep.
So your keyboards backing vocals, and in one or two songs you're full on vocals. You'd obviously do the original stuff. You'd obviously do the vocals on, and I know you have a song called Medusa Oaks that you do the vocals on, and the latest EP. That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, but generally I think I find and we find that it's more me and Thea are beginning to blend more.
Hmm.
So I would see what I'm doing is more kind of back and vocals, even though some songs I kind of stand out more.
Hmm.
In
I think
general,
going forward, you're gonna see more mixes of stuff going
I
back
think
and forth. Just see more of a blend, like Brian said.
exactly,
Well, that's a cool dynamic because you have very different vocal styles.
Hmm.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah,
but it definitely works, definitely.
just
Yeah,
want to get it right.
Adrian seen you at the Siege of Limerick, and he said you were very, very good.
Oh, it was very nice of him.
Where were you
Well,
playing? What stage were you playing? Were you playing the Casbah or were you upstairs in the Siege?
The
We
guys
were
were
on
like,
the Casbah, yeah.
Oh, that's a great stage to get.
hmm.
Yeah, no, we had a really nice time slot as well. We were
I mean,
up at around 9 p.m., which was nice. We were quite surprised by how late the slot was, but
That's a
there
good
was a
time.
lot of people there, which was really nice. It's definitely the biggest crowd we played to anyway.
Yeah,
camera, deadly.
And
awesome.
what only is at a good time for that reason, it's at the perfect time where everyone has been drinking it long enough that they still know what's going on, but they're not quite gone to the next level yet.
Yeah.
So,
So you
Yeah,
know, about that happy period around 9 o'clock where they're together enough to know that they've seen you and they enjoyed you.
yeah. No, we got very lucky with our stuff. We were very happy with it.
And there's a great sound in the Casbah as well too.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting stage as well because obviously the room itself it's very long, so it's quite narrow and long, which obviously with the amount of people that are there, I don't think it's so much about acoustics, but it's just like it really felt so full. Like it's the first time I looked up from stage and it's like, oh my God, it's a sea of people. It was a really cool feeling.
And plus, it's better because it's got the higher ceiling. Where the
Yeah,
upstairs stage is good as that, it has a very low ceiling. Where the
yeah,
sound
yeah.
travel down and back as well. Where the Casbah it travels perfectly because it's the high ceiling will just help it get around, which makes it better for everyone involved in that, especially when you get that stage like.
it's like a
Yeah,
tunnel.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
And how did you get on now in Escorty? All right.
right.
Yeah, it was a good night.
The Outrage Festival was really good, and we did a release gig in Enniscorthy as well, which was
Yeah.
great. And that was on the day before we went to Siege. That was the first time we did two gigs, two nights in a row as well.
Yeah.
But the release gig went really well, and Outrage Fest was brilliant.
Hmm.
That's good to hear because, as we touched on before, Enniscorthy is not the most likely place you think of a metal festival happening in Ireland, like But it's great that it's getting a crowd.
Yeah, no, fair play to the lads for obviously everyone involved with Outrage Entertainment, all the boys from 12 Gauge, because like you said yourself, when we were growing up, Enniscorthy definitely would not have been a hotspot of metal and alternative music anyway. But the work they've put in, like you can see it in the town. There's a lot of people that are getting into metal because they get to go to these gigs. And yeah, no, it's really cool to have it back home. Obviously, in the town that most of us grew up in the band, and obviously we've seen it when it wasn't there, so we were able to see the effect that having people actually put on these shows can have on a metal community and in a place as well. So yeah, we're very grateful for it, and it's really cool to have it at home.
And of course, the boys record your music as well too. That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Reggie's side of things as well. So that's Regicide Productions, but then Brian Stacey helps him out as well. So like Brian Stacey would have recorded my drums, and then Reggie obviously mixed and mastered everything. But yeah, they're fantastic lads. Like they just go in on everything together, and they have so much going on, which is it's really cool to see that they're not just sticking to the one thing of okay, we're playing music. They're actually pushing music in their obviously community, and then they're also able to record local bands, which is really cool as well.
Well, they've had a good look for it. They've got a few decent support slots from DME this year. The support,
Yeah.
Well,
oh,
they're great to work with, so everybody would want to work with them. That's it.
they supported Anvil there recently.
They did, yeah.
Anvil and
Massive gig.
and Social. That's a lead pretty cool one to get. Like even they got a film about them with Lars Ulrich in it.
Yeah,
Like Anvil are a legendary trash band. Like
yeah,
It was good.
crazy.
It's a big gig to get.
so, in regards to your symptom of suffering, how's it been going down? How's Spotify numbers and all that kind of stuff? It's tipping away nicely, yeah.
Yeah, been doing
Yeah,
well. No?
It's been the most successful one so far in terms of numbers for some reason. Yeah, the numbers have just shot up, especially on the song Dead Can Wait. I don't know. I don't know what we did different, to be honest.
Just made better music, David.
But I did notice that Slowly Sinking EP did kind of slip under the radar a bit in comparison to the newest one and the original one, even though the original one was released at the worst possible time in the midst of lockdown. But the second one didn't really get the traction the first one and the third one have got, should I say.
Yeah, the first one was released at a very unique time where obviously it was it was very difficult from a live performance point of view. It was really upsetting not to be able to play a release gig for it. But then at the same time, I feel like a lot of people were paying a bit more attention to local musicians that like everyone knew would be suffering because of lockdown and COVID. So I think there was a lot more sympathy from people there as well, where they actually made the effort to check it out. And then obviously with this new one, I don't know. I don't know why it's doing better, but it is, which is really nice to see. And then yeah, Slowly Sinking was kind of in the middle, but as a band, we went through a long period of not doing much and obviously not releasing anything, not playing many gigs. It took us a little bit of time to get back into gear. So I think yeah, Symptom of Suffering is doing well because it's good musically, but I think it's also feeding off the momentum that we would have got from Slowly Sinking as well.
We had a cat there trying to infiltrate there.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I expected. I see this thing. What the fuck is that? It's like, was that a cat? No, that's great to hear. But you wouldn't know this, or I don't know if you'd remember or not. When I originally uploaded the debut EP on the Bandcamp, my Bandcamp back in the day for the Moshville Times thing,
Yeah.
it got 2,500 streams in 3 days.
Fucking hell.
Wow. I didn't know that, yeah.
Yeah, I looked at the numbers. I was like, bloody hell. I did not expect that, but it just took off.
Fuck.
Fucking hell.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate because it was when we dropped that EP at the time, like the projection looking forward was looking like it was going to be great, and then of course we all know what happened next. But you've clawed back and you're moving forward again at the where I thought you were going to go, and plus you have the added bonus of having Brian back again, just to really mix things up and add more diversity going forward. Like,
We'll see about that. I might completely fuck it up.
Couldn't if you tried.
it's the Irish music scene, Brian. Where you'll be all right. You can do what you want, you know.
We're all right.
You'll move a few CDs and play a few gigs and that, and have a bit of crack, like.
Yeah,
Actually,
hopefully.
but the way it is now with music, I'd really encourage everyone just to do exactly what they want to do, because you might as well, like.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Point.
Because if you listen to bands at the top of the tier now, and they're all saying the same thing, that this money we're getting, we can't continue the way it's going, like.
Yeah.
They just don't make money. Like all of them have second jobs as well, and the whole band thing is just like a hobby for them, really. The really, really big bands, only like the Slipknots and the Metallicas, they're the kind of bands that make money, I think.
Yeah, kind of.
There'll be a few others like I Prevail are one that are, seem to be doing very well for themselves.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, what they've done is they use the whole online thing perfectly. The drummer has a POV camera when he's playing.
I've seen the vlogs for that. It's actually it's really interesting to see it. He'll do like a whole video talking about his
Yeah.
being on tour and waking up in the morning and kind of his diet, what he does to keep energy and all. It's really nice to see as well because obviously there's the whole stigma with alternative music where people just kind of it's party party party. It was really cool to see it from his perspective of how much he takes care of himself and how healthy the whole thing actually is, or how healthy he tries to keep it. But yeah, no, I feel like you kind of have to do those type of things, especially when you're playing alternative music, because there's a lot of marketing, obviously, within the fashion side of things and all. It is quite trendy on TikTok, but when it comes to actually making music, money off the music itself, it's not popular enough, unfortunately, compared to other genres.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just a generational thing now because we're 20 years
Yeah.
streaming thing now, give or take, for Napster and all them, or 20 years ago now, give or take. So that's a full
Yeah.
generation now that have never really had to buy music. So it's kind of, if it's the older people and the older bands that are selling now, but the younger bands are just, it's not programmed into their DNA. They'll buy a T-shirt, but they don't buy. But should that, like, let's be honest, lads. How many of you actually have a CD player?
I,
I have several.
Yeah, I got a fucking
Well, Brian,
tape
I know
player.
you would anyway because you're an out bastard like me, like. But
And I was old school.
but the rest. So there's Sam and Patrick. You don't have a CD player, no?
I'm one of the evil ones. All my music comes from Spotify, and that's it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's not a dig. And it's not a dig. It's not a.
No, I know,
It's
of course, yeah.
It's just the fact of the fucking matter, like
Yeah,
just a generational thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Music.
When it comes to collecting music and games or films or whatever else, you need to nearly have your own house for it because it's just bulk at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
I think when I was like a teenager and stuff, I went through that whole like physical media, and then I got a bit older and I was like, no, it's important, very important.
Well, there's my record solar flares hitting the earth this year.
Mm.
If a big one hit, there's one hit there 2 weeks ago that took out radio waves all over the world. And if a proper one hit and it took the internet down for a month, what's everyone going to do?
Jam more, practice more,
Yeah, exactly. Write the album.
play more, gigs out more.
The only problem is how the fuck would you promote the gig now, though, without the internet?
Shout at people.
Shout at people, yeah.
Yeah.
Just go bringing a bell.
The town crier.
Exactly, get the town crier on the go, But yes, as you said, you're working on an album. Wouldn't you have any timeline set for it, or is this going to be let it all flow naturally and see what happens?
I would think we're just going to work on it and see where we end up. We just want to get it right and just work on it, see what feels right, and make sure that we all want to stretch and try things and but only what feels right as well. So need time to play around with different things too. So.
Well, you've got the trilogy of EPs out now, so you've got your name back out again this year. You're back onto a level where you're moving forward. So probably the best thing in course of action would just be for work away, play a few regular gigs, and just keep the word out. You seem to be getting good numbers on Instagram, so that's important. You've got an online following, like.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to build up. We're trying to build up the following, and instead of just releasing it to our friends, we can hopefully other people start listening to it now as well. But now next year we'll probably continue writing, and in my head I want the album out the following year. But I can't see us not doing that, to be honest. Things would have to slow down ridiculously. But next year.
I think we're at a good pace right now, good flow.
Yeah.
So,
So it was handy with Symptom of Suffering because we had all those songs wrote already. So we're going into this from scratch, and we don't really have any songs right now. We have like 2 or 3. Like we've been working on stuff today, so we want around 12, maybe 12 songs, 12 or 13.
That's a magic number.
Yeah, 13 maybe.
Jeez, that's going to be a long album. So
I want a full album. Like you could keep banging out EPs. Like when I listen to music, I never really listen to EPs. I listen to full length albums from bands, and
I think 13 sounds like a decent set of songs.
yeah,
Decent amount of songs. Too much, not too little.
yeah. I think
call
40.
the album 13. Maybe call the album 13.
Oh, it's already been done. 6 feet under and Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. But everything's already been done. But that's cool because when you are a band, I know getting an album out is always the goal, isn't it? Just to look back on, I released an album like.
No, 100%. And I think obviously because we have 3 EPs released already, which is, it's a lot of music. I think oh God, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but we've more songs recorded than I originally thought. I kind of caught myself by surprise when I was looking at it. But yeah, like when we were going back in for Slowly Sinking and Symptom of Suffering, we already had a lot of the material written and it was kind of just about perfecting it, making subtle changes, being happy with it. But because we have literally nothing for this one, it kind of feels like another debut in a sense, because we've never done an album. We haven't recorded something without having any prior work done for it in a lot of years now. So yeah, it is a goal, but it's something that's going to take a decent chunk of time as well, because, we really, really wanted to kind of capture what we've been doing the past few years and do it justice. And, that is going to take time.
And plus, you've got the new dynamic with Brian back, so that's another thing.
Yeah.
Have when you were writing the previous 2 EPs.
I already can't wait to get my little flaws into this.
Well, you have a lot of music with your own project that I keep butchering the name of. How do you say your name of your project?
Scrub.
Scrob. I keep butchering the name of your project like that.
If you don't mind, I'll make an announcement here and now. Scrub is over. It's finished. It's dead.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, I'm starting something new in 2025.
Okay, very good.
I don't want to say anything, but
Oh
I'll
yeah,
leave it.
that's no panic. Like you've just gone in a different direction with it musically. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, not too bad because that was very industrial what you were doing before. So you've got something else up your sleeve now. Yeah.
I'm just hoping to expand more.
Sure, why not, man?
Absolutely.
Well, that'll quite a few itches out as well too. But if it's one of the really mad ideas you can write, well, that might be a bit too mad for Deck Can Wait. I can put that in my own project.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if Death Can Wait does this, I'll do this.
Grant.
It's your thing, like scratching, and it's like, okay, well, if I did that, then if we did this, then I have to do that or whatever. But even the tune and the approach, everything is completely different. So it's just another outlet.
Oh, very good. Sure, look at you're as well off. Something to be at in the evening, as I say.
Absolutely. Bottle of wine after work.
Get into it. But who was the mastermind behind the latest music videos you've been making?
I don't know if I call myself a mastermind. I discovered Canva. I discovered Canva.
Man, they're really, really great. Like,
thank you. Yeah, no, it's something that's fun. When I was growing up, I always used to do little videos with my friends, like war videos and stuff like that. And it's something that I fell out of love with. And I just kind of found a bit of a new passion for it. It's not something that I'll, ever do for a living or anything, but it's not even something that I'd ever take as seriously as Dead Can Wait. But yeah, just with this one, it kind of felt right. And we had a chat before we started putting this Symptom of Suffering EP together as well. And we said, we're going to try to keep it as in-house as possible to like really make it Death Can Wait. Okay, this is ours. We did this. We didn't just pay people money to make stuff for it. So if we had the skills to do something, we tried to do it ourselves. And the original idea was just to have the one video for Death Can Wait, and I was going to mess around with it and see how it turned out. And that one took a very, very long time. But I had so much fun doing it that I just kind of kept on going with it. And as the lads can tell you, every now and then I just send in like a new idea or a new draft for something. And yeah, it wasn't just me. Like I got loads of ideas from everyone. And yeah, I'd send in a draft and they'd give me a little bit of feedback on it. It's like, okay, this works, that doesn't work. I change it around and then we'd kind of come together and finish it off. So yeah, thank you. I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed them anyway.
I thought they were cool. Like there was, I thought maybe Brian might have been the one behind it because some of those references are going back a long way. Like
Yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, it was a collective effort because like especially for the Death Can Wait video, we all had a chat and it's like, okay, what does everyone want to put into it? And I had my own stuff, and then David had his own stuff, Tia had their own stuff, Sam had his own stuff, Brian had his own stuff, and it created this really cool blend of obviously different, not only different interests but different generations as well of like gothic media that we would have grown up with. So yeah, I'm really really happy that you actually noticed that. That's really cool.
oh yeah, that was one of the first things I noticed because there's so many little clips in there that took me back, like through the different years of history. Like the last video you dropped, was it? I don't know. Was it actually the last one or the one before? But yeah, the original PlayStation opening screen at the start of it.
Yeah, that was the last one. So that
That
one
was the
was
last
for
one. Sorry, yeah.
Medusa Oaks. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. It's just nostalgia. Like I think talking about this EP, it's quite unique in a way where whenever we try to talk about what it means to us, I think it's a little bit different for everyone. But for me anyway, like a lot of it was just old stuff, like old homely stuff that we would have grown up with, looking at that kind of darker side of things that you get interested in as a child, and obviously how that can shape your interest growing up and stuff like that. So obviously PlayStation 2 was a big thing for people my age anyway. That's my earliest memory with video games would be the PlayStation 2. So I wanted to stick that one in there anyway.
Well, that around that time, the gamer stigma really went out the window around that era because everyone was realizing what they could actually do with them now.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really cool.
Remember that console was the one that brought in the Vice Cities and the San Andreases of this.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like, whoa, what can we actually do with these now?
Yeah, it's such a popular form of entertainment as well. Like, obviously, in my place of work, I interact and chat to young people a lot, and just talking to them about interests. Like, it's everyone's playing video games, and when I was growing up as well, I felt like there was a gender bias towards lads being kind of more interested in video games. But now it's just everyone, and it's really cool to see. Like, I'm really happy about that.
I would like to go into the little metaverse and get out of the real world for a while.
Yeah.
Need a break from reality sometimes.
The geeks are taking over.
I think the way reality has been going the last few years, the more time you spend away from it, the better, At least you've got an outlet in Death Can Wait,
Fucking insane.
Like as we said before we started, with the way the world will be going now, the next few years, there'll be going to be plenty of inspiration for heavy music. So there is.
Oh yeah.
Especially the last couple of years in general, like we're now basically at the same places we were at the end of World War II when in international conflicts, like.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So we're back breaking records left, right, and center again now.
Oh yeah.
This circle keeps going around and around. Same bullshit.
Nail on the head, Brian. Nail on the head.
The economy, war, society crumbling, coming together again, crumbling, coming together again. It just keeps going. It's fucking history.
Mm-hmm. It's fun watching it play out in front of our eyes, though, isn't it?
Men just want to watch the
It's all right
world.
for us because we're both older and we've got no kids and shit, so we can have a cynical fucking laugh at it all. We've got nothing in this game. Like,
If I didn't laugh, I'd cry.
so you've no more gigs coming up now for the rest of the year, and nothing coming up for the next year. For now, it's just I'm going to be sit down. start working on the album and just see how it goes next year. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
Jamming, 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 jamming.
if it comes along, we'll take it. But we will look for gigs as well next year.
Hell yeah.
It probably won't be, or it might be. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. In our head, like, we'll just write. But I know once a gig is offered, we'll all be like, yeah,
Yeah, we'll
take it.
Yeah.
Did you play Templemore this year?
Yeah.
You play Templemore this year. Oh, that'll be awkward. So for next year, he generally doesn't book the same lineup 2 years in a row. So
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's all right.
you might get on the Outrage Entertainment Festival if there is one again next year because you're locals.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have us again next year at some stage, definitely. And
I never actually asked you the last time. How are you fixed geographically? Are you near each other when it comes to working as a band, or are you all over the place?
I'm in
All
this.
over the shop.
Yeah, all over the shop. Not too bad, but
This-
it's not as bad as some bands can be. But like, I'm in Wicklow. Some of you're in Enniscorthy. You're in Carlow.
Where are you, Sam?
it could be
I'm in
worse.
Carlo as well.
Oh, there's two of you, in Carlo. Oh, that's not too bad. Like, there's two of you near each
No.
other.
Yeah.
How often do you get together to jam as a band? Once every 2 weeks or that, or?
A couple of weeks.
And that's what we're trying. We'd like to do once every 2 weeks, but it's pretty much once a month. But hopefully we'll kind of pull together a bit more and start practicing every 2 weeks. Our schedules are terrible. We can only do the weekend. Patrick works up in Dublin during the week. And sure, Tia's in Wicklow, so it's hard for everyone to
I
make.
do fucking shift work till like 2 o'clock in the fucking morning
Yeah.
every second week. So like every second week, I'm a ghost. I don't even exist. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, that's because you don't have any pattern, do you? It's all out the window.
Yeah, you get up in the morning and it's basically to go to work. And then it's to go to bed.
Yeah.
And that's like every 2 week cycle, like shift work. I mean, it pays, it's fine, you get used to it, but still it's like towards jamming when you can, it just throws a spanner in the works.
Well, say I drank plenty of bottles of wine during those 2 weeks anyway.
Sludge it.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed when I done shift work back in the day, That old bottle of wine is a fucking godsend. It's the difference between sleeping or staring at the fucking roof or like birds chirping outside and shit. You're like, what's going on here?
Absolutely true. A lot of people don't get that.
Oh, it's not especially it's not too bad during the winter, but during the summer it's a bastard.
Absolutely. It fucked you up like.
Oh, it really does. And then some prick will start mowing his lawn at 11 o'clock in the day, like, which is completely acceptable and normal. But fuck you.
Really. It's
I understand your plight, man. Alright, so we're going to play a bit of we've said we'll play a bit of your track. Which one did we say we're going to play again? Incinerator, that's correct, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll knock on a bit. And you've released 3 videos for this cycle, that's correct, yeah?
Yeah.
Christ, where did that come from? Bloody hell, that gave me a fucking heart. now. We won't play it all. It's a very long song, but you can see in that particular track the dual vocals are at play. They're very subtle, but you can hear them coming in. And I'd say in a live environment they come across a lot better.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, I think, but we're definitely, the more Brian and I have been working together, we're just finding that sort of synergy between us, and
Yeah.
where you don't have to really look or say anything, and just bouncing back and forth, the chemistry works.
Yeah, big time.
Because when you're listening to an audio, you don't really know who's singing which part, but once on stage, it's more obvious that there's one vocalist here and the other vocalist there. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for everyone, it's pretty much Brian is on just the
Of
chorus.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But live we tend to mix it up more, I think, because it's like I tend to play like various impacts. So if I know that something's going to crash in, then I'll jump in on that. But then I'll let Dia go on with the rest of it.
Mhm.
So it's playing with impacts.
Yeah,
So just
they add like accents and everything to, bits that really make them pop more.
Yeah.
And you can kind of read the crowd reaction too, and you can sometimes feel like there may be just a little bit of a change here and there, just to mix it up, maybe put a bit more vocal on both ends, like maybe do a duel at the same time, like maybe just to get a bit more across, like.
Well, we definitely do that at the end of certain songs. I think the first time we probably recognized that was the end of Wreckage, where Pia and me are literally, it's like as if we're trying to literally out scream each other. And fucking go to the end, and it's just him and me just annihilating the rest of the song. Like,
Yeah,
I think that's first.
it's awesome.
Well, that definitely adds a new dynamic to that song for definite, because that's from the original EP.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that I'd have to actually hear that live to see if even sound what that would sound like, because I just know with your vocals, Brian. So
Hey, it's a great one. We love playing it, but it's one of those ones as well where like we've also played it, I think, at every gig ever.
No, recently was the first time we called from the set. Did we call it? Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we always used to open up with it because it's a nice, easy one for us to open up with because it's not too instrumentally challenging. Like it's a fairly simple song, to be honest, to play anyway. But it's a really fun one as well. Yeah. So sorry, Brian, I cut you off. You're gonna go in there.
Phil, the next gig you show up to, we'll play it just for you.
Yeah.
I know. Actually, I genuinely hope to get to see you this year. I was going to go to Siege of Limerick, and I don't want to keep going on about it, but I've been dealing with cancer bullshit, and I fell right in the middle of the treatment. So a room full of people when you're going through cancer treatment is a really fucking bad idea.
It's bad as
Because the thing about it is, when you're there for 6 weeks, you're basically in isolation for 6 weeks. Because you just want to get them done one after another, so it's fully effective, and then it gives yourself an even better fighting chance,
It's not fucking easy, man.
Sure, look at what can you do? Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade or something like that.
Like,
And that's a joke I hope you never understand about the lemonade thing, because that's for when it comes to bladder cancer treatment. There's only one way in there and one way only. Yeah, you don't want to know where it is. I hope you never find out either. Look it's been great to have you back on again, lads, and it's great that you're kicking on again, because as we've said, you're doing well. At the Arsenal of 2019, you were starting to get your foot in. You played the Gothic Species Festival and stuff like that, just to get the name out. And you played Templemore. You played Templemore in 2019. Yeah, you did, didn't you? You did, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So everything was just kind of going in the right direction, and everything got pulled out from under. And now you're back with Brian is back. Tia was vocalist for a while now. You've got two vocals. Sam, you seem to have settled in nicely on the bass. You've been with the band how long now? It's 3 years, is it?
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years this month, I think.
Yeah, I knew you were in the band a while. All right, You haven't really said much tonight, so we'll get some bit of a chat out anyway before we go. So you're 3 years in the band now. Do you contribute to the writing as well, or do you just come in and put down bass lines, or what's your role?
I've mostly been putting in bass lines. The stuff I write isn't exactly metal,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it doesn't really fit with the band a lot of the time. But I've got a couple of new things that I'm gonna put forward this time.
Oh, very good. Well, as we said earlier on, it's an open plate. It's a blank canvas in front of you now with going into this album. You've got nothing to work on. Your past is your past.
Yeah.
The trilogy of EPs have been released, so now we go on and maybe make the perfect version of Deck and Wait, with all the eras combining and just all just going to move forward now, and hopefully everything goes well for you. And the way that those things have been going, over the last few releases, I'd say you've progressed all the time. So
Oh,
the
just
album
wait.
now, and as you say, with everyone now on the same page and looking forward, this could be a good, exciting time for the band,
Oh, yeah, absolutely is.
because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, when you look back, when you're old and decrepit, you'll be able to look back and say we released an album.
You can't get old and decrepit if you're immortal.
That's very true.
Yeah, and I'm like, you think about it. I said to Sam afterwards, we were driving home after.
Well, actually, you're incorrect. You could be Blade. Blade ages like a human.
I'm not playing. You.
I know, yeah, but you said if you can't be immortal and not age, so I have to call out things when they're wrong.
Is it Denzel Washington or Wesley Snipes?
Wesley Snipes.
I know. It's Denzel Washington would be quite weird. Anyway, we're getting
Denzel
sidetracked.
Washington is 70 years old. Did you know that?
Maybe he is played.
Maybe he is. Looking at him there in the new Gladiator trilogy, he doesn't look a day over fucking 45, never mind 70.
Yeah. Jesus. That's what's
Alright.
crazy.
Our Denzel.
Good man himself. Anyway, lads, thanks for coming on. And Deck and Wave recently dropped your EP Symptom of Suffering, which is on is it on Bandcamp?
It is now, yeah.
It's on Bandcamp and Spotify and all those places. It's up on YouTube. And your second EP was called
Slowly.
Sinking.
So Slowly Sinking. And of course the debut EP was released back in 2000, but to 2020, should I say, but you've moved on from that now. You've gone in a really different direction. It's just going to be, check out the two latest releases for where the potentially where you're going to go next. That'd be all right, yeah?
Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah, it's going to be a combination of both, I think. And then a bit expanded with keys and electronic stuff, maybe.
heavy.
Yeah, it's going to be different anyway.
Well, that's no harm, because if you want to get gigs in the Irish scene, the more different you are, the better a chance you've got, because you'll make more of an impression.
It's actually more fun as well.
Yeah.
And it'll be easier for me, so like myself and Adrian, to remember you when we're doing our roundup videos and stuff, because it sticks out more.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
No, I like watching those videos.
Yeah.
They're look at, we set out to get them to 100 viewers per episode, and we've got there, so we're happy with that.
Excellent.
If you get 100 people checking out new Irish bands and me ranting and raving like a lunatic every week, you're doing all right, I suppose.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bit of
That's
crack. Anyways, and I'll say this to you now, lads. Your latest EP will definitely be in my thinking when I'm doing my list now in a couple of weeks' time. Or it's
Thank
about
you very
3
much.
weeks' time. Definitely will be in my thinking, because I really like the addition of your track Medusa Oaks. I love the video work, as I've touched on earlier, all the old references. It's just, to me, it's just a really good time, and it's a really good EP, and I really do wish you all the best going forward, lads.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
No, but
Appreciate it.
thanks everyone for watching, and we shall be back next time. Good luck.
Thank you.